And I think if someone says that's not the case, they're lying 95 million times.
And I just think you've got to be yourself, right? There's just no point in trying to pretend to be something else.
Yeah. Burnout is a thing when you are getting to that point. And I think...
And it's a hard one because you almost have to rally to that point to move to the next level.
Yeah. What I really realized was that I had a big moment in these people's lives and that felt really special.
The early days is to set up the rest of your days. That applies for all areas of life.
And I just want people to come to my business that love to spend time with us.
And it's that connection.
What pulls you through is keep coming back to your purpose and your why.
Yeah.
And knowing that that is what's going to get you through.
100% agree.
And it may be completely different circumstances. That was a big wake up call for me.
I had someone ask me the other day, if you could go back and change anything, what would you change? It's like nothing.
Nothing.
Because even if you wouldn't be who you are now if you hadn't been through all the things that you've been through.
Before we dive in, just a quick little love note from us. If this podcast has ever made you laugh, cry, think, or feel seen, please hit that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to keep the magic going and it helps us land more incredible guests for you. Go on, back your girls, subscribe now, and let's keep rising together.
Welcome back to a cozy little inner sanctum on Salon Rising, the podcast today, Sam.
It's very cozy.
No, it's been
Two of us.
ages. It's been an age.
It's been a time.
Since it was just the two of us having a little chit chat.
I know. Welcome. You guys have to just listen to us talk for the next 35 minutes.
I know, but I'm actually really excited about what you have prepared for today.
Well, ChatGPT is prepared for me.
No, but you had a little chat with ChatGPT.
I had a good chat with ChatGPT. And I have prepared some questions. Hold on, let me get into my ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I say BT, not the right one.
All right. It's not.
So we thought we'd do like the Vogue questions, quick fire questions. And I think this will be good because we're both in different seasons of our businesses.
Yeah.
So the first question is, what's one thing you knew before starting your salon business?
One thing I knew.
What is one thing you wish you knew?
See, no, I feel like I've gone in with eyes wide open because I've had you in my life for so long.
Absolutely. I think one thing for me, I was thinking on this morning, I think one thing for me was I wish I knew that it was going to, trap is the wrong word, it was going to confine me to an area.
Interesting.
So I started this business at 23. So, you know, starting the business older.
Do you mean like not getting to travel?
Yeah, once you have your business, it's like for anyone that's like thinking about getting a business, I think once you have your business, that more than anything I feel like restricts you.
Okay.
You can't travel as much, you know, yes, if you have a team and stuff, but travel as much as in, you know, if you wanted to move overseas for 6 months.
Yeah, okay.
You know, and I did this young. I did this at 23. If I wanted to move, at that point my ex-husband at the time was living away up north and I probably would have moved
okay. I see what you're saying.
I probably would have moved and had a little bit more transient if I didn't own the business. But I think a business definitely really sticks your roots in because you build it and you continue to build it and 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 build it. And the only way to move out of it is to sell it.
Right.
Or to move out of it. So it definitely does stop those things. So for anyone that was thinking about it, I would say if you want those decisions, if you know you want to be roots deep where you are, do it. But if you want those decisions to be able to be movable, don't do it as early.
So when you say traveling, you're not talking about going away on holidays and going and stuff. You're talking about
you want to go for 6
months.
months. You want to go for 12 months. You want to go for it definitely keeps you a little bit more contained to your area and what you can do because you have a business. Obviously, it's going to be different if you have business partners and things like that. But again, it all becomes a little bit sticky. So I think I always knew that I wanted to be on the coast. But yes, if you're building a business and in the early days, generally you're not pumping out the cash. We've just done that on our last podcast. So, you know, those early days are to set up the rest of your days. So if you are thinking.
Yeah, that's so true. I like that. So many little things today. The early days is to set up the rest of your days. That applies for all areas of life.
Yeah.
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 I really like that.
Excellent. What's been the best business decision so far?
Can I really say yet? Like it's been a hot minute. So far.
Best business decision so far?
I would say the company that I partnered with has been the best business decision for me because I feel like they have been a real support to get things off the ground. And I think my best business decision is that I just ask all my friends that have got businesses. Do you know what I mean? Like just, feel comfortable like, I don't know what to do with this. What would you do with this? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think yours is?
Moving. Lasarella was a really great decision because everything that I chose in here was a very thought out, well-placed decision. Yeah. So I feel like we've been in here for 3 years and she's really like held her value. Everything still looks great. Moving was a really good business decision for that. And also I guess when I really wanted to get my head out of the sand, knowing my finances.
Yeah.
Really like knowing and being involved in my finances was a really savvy business decision.
I think talking about fit out and stuff as well, I think that one of the smartest things I did was not spend a crazy amount going in early, like not absolutely financing myself to the eyeballs just to have like just doing things as I can and as I can afford them.
That's a good
was
point
definitely
because for
a smart
me
thing to do.
With Lasarella 2.0, I paid for it completely in cash. Well, not cash. I paid for it through the account.
Yeah.
So I had enough money to do the renovation rather than taking out a loan.
Yeah.
Or rather than sending myself really tight, I saved and saved and saved for it before I did it.
Yeah.
So that it didn't take me backwards.
Yeah. That's definitely one of the things I reckon has been good for me.
Yeah. I love that. What's one tool or app that you swear by for running your salon smoothly?
Oh, mine's Timely.
Mine's Katoomba.
Yeah.
So a really, really good, really incredible support is always going to be your
absolutely
systems that you use. And we both swear by both. And I've been with Katoomba for a really long time, so I use Katoomba for me, but I think both are incredible software programs.
And just having, the support and just that ability to take your hands off things, you know, like, automating everything. That's my motto.
What's the biggest mistake you've made in business so far? What did you learn?
I think my biggest mistake starting out, I definitely think I had the potential to just go a little bit people-pleasy to start off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like there were situations where stuff, and it definitely will be one of my challenges, I think, to keep going, is just being comfortable with what I don't feel comfortable, you know, I don't feel comfortable with the situation, so it's a no. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like just that kind of thing. What was the actual question again?
Yeah, that's good. What's the biggest mistake you've made? I think for me, I've been in business 15 years. There's many mistakes that I have made, and I don't necessarily see them as failures because we have to make mistakes.
Fail forward.
You have to make mistakes to learn. One of mine would definitely be not nipping things in the bud faster.
Yeah, okay.
You know, not pulling up on things quicker. I would definitely say that, and definitely people pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely people pleasing. And in the early days, not knowing my numbers and waiting until I was like 4 years in and heavily in debt before I learnt my numbers.
Yeah.
Do it at the beginning and you'll be
just start
absolutely
off on the right
flying.
foot.
Yeah, it's so simple. Do the finance program. It's so simple. Do it online. It's so affordable. The payment plans just do it so that
you can pay yourself back so quickly by doing
fast.
it. Yeah.
And I think if I had that at the beginning, I wouldn't have made all the mistakes I made. You know, I was very much like, I can't save because I just pay myself out of my business. It's an absolute lie. So definitely those things in the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Having said that though, like in the beginning, because I'm still in the beginning, I can't do that yet because there isn't enough to do that yet. You know what I mean?
No, but you know all the things.
Oh, yeah, I do know.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what I mean.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? In the beginning, I just spent money willy-nilly because I was like, oh, I don't really know about anything about tax, or I wasn't prepared for any of it.
Okay.
So it was like I just put my head in the sand and just thought it was all my money.
Okay.
How do you attract new clients in a saturated market? I don't think we're a saturated market, and anyone that tells me we are, I say like we're like one hairdresser to. I need to look up the stats on that on ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Because it's not a saturated market.
No, and I just think you've got to be yourself, right?
Yeah.
There's just no point in trying to pretend to be something else.
Yep.
I very much feel like that's one of the noise things that I've got going on at the moment with the being surrounded by other businesses that do the same thing as my business, and just that noise. It's like we always preach, community over competition, but it's hard when you feel like that. Like I feel like that. But then when there's someone else that's just nagging over here all the time that is the complete opposite, it's just niggly. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I had my friend Tony who cuts my hair, he was saying to me like, so what's the clientele like in your area? I was like, I don't know. My clientele comes from all over the place.
Us too.
I have people that drive 2 hours just to come and get a haircut.
Yeah.
2.5 hours she drives.
Yeah.
Just to get a haircut.
Yep.
I think just speak to the person that you want to sit in the chair, right?
Exactly right. And I think for me that's honed in more and more lately is like, and I've really kind of sat back, been on the floor more, and our clientele just comes from who we are as people and how they want to see us. And our clientele's been with us for such a long time. I love you can walk in and talk to five people.
Walk around the room. Hello,
that's so for me, like those relationships and building those relationships and people knowing how important that is for me. I think just creating that really authenticness where people know how passionate we are about what we do and who we are. And I just want people to come to my business that love to spend time with us.
And it's that connection. Like we talk about the relationship and connection. I forgot to tell you this, but I've just remembered. I had someone to come and see me last week who we used to look after years ago.
Oh,
like
really?
Years and years and years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
And it was so funny because it was her and her daughter and her sister-in-law. So she, again, had just it just popped up somewhere in her Instagram world and she's like, oh my gosh, came in for a haircut. But it was those little things, because you build that relationship with those people, that when she messaged to book, I was like, okay, cool. She's like, right, I'm booking for me, booking for my daughter, and I'm booking for my sister-in-law. I'm like, cool. So your daughter won't want to have her hair shampooed because I remember that she's got Ehlers-Danlos, so she can't lean her head back in the basin. She's like, oh my God, I cannot believe that you remember that. It's like, yeah. And so your sister-in-law with her ears, with her being dead, and she's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's crazy. I was like, I don't, but you form those relationships,
you form those
right?
There's many people that I've formed those relationships that when they just come in, it's just so nice. I actually had that the other day. A friend of mine who hadn't been in for a really long time booked back in, and I'm just like, and you just know all of things. You know what they like, you know what they don't like, you know what they need. I was like,
Miriam.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, she's the best.
Yeah.
And I love her. Just tell her hi from me.
I will.
And yeah, I was like, tea? She was like, yes. Like I know what they drink, and so those things feel really important to me, like the salon. And you kind of forget that the longer you've had the salon.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's not attracting always new clients, it's attracting your clients back. It's having them bringing their friends and family, them just like loving you enough that they just want to say your name no matter what. I think that's really special.
Yeah.
Retail, love it or hate it?
I love it.
Yeah. Look, I love it, but having a team gets a little bit trickier with retail because sometimes you hate it because one of your team might be off it that week and you feel like you have to.
I still definitely have that as myself though.
Yeah.
Like I have weeks where I'm like, oh, why did you not, like afterwards I'll have clients message me things and I'm like, that was a fail, girlfriend. You should have talked about that.
Yeah, but it's easier when it's yourself, but it's when you're having to constantly motivate a team towards it.
Yeah, yeah.
It can be difficult, but I do love it. I just always want to find new ways to make my team feel inspired about retail.
Yeah.
So more though, like rather than just being like sell retail, because that's never the goal, right? So I think I love it because we couldn't live without it.
And that's the thing, like your clients want something done to their hair that you need something to do it to their hair.
Yeah.
So if they want to do it too, they're going to need it too.
Yeah. Okay, the next chapter is Motherhood and Business. So the first chapter was business and salon life. The next chapter is Motherhood and Business. So the first one is, we're going to have to do this pretty quick. What's a normal morning look like for you as a business owner and a mum?
Me or you?
Both. You, go.
Okay, mine is up, walk dog, get ready, drop one child to the train, come back again, pick up the other child and leave and go and drop her to school and then go to the salon. So even though I don't necessarily take clients until a little bit later to allow myself to have time to do the things that I need to do because there's no one else, I still go straight there because her school, the second child's school, is like only 10 minutes from the salon. So I definitely wouldn't spend an hour driving home again in the traffic to then turn around and come back.
Yep. Mine is up every kind of yelling from the minute I get up. No, I'm like,
I am yelling from the minute I get up.
Come on, let's go, let's move, let's do lunches, whether I have 3 or whether I have 5. And then again, it depends whether I have 2 drop-offs or 3 drop-offs.
Yeah.
And then I'm in my definitely smoothie era. I don't have time to generally eat, but I know if I don't eat, I am not nurturing my body. So I'm definitely in a chuck a smoothie in. I'm trying to prep some food.
To work, rather than
prep a little bit of food, throw that in. But definitely when I wake up, it is like before I even get out of bed, generally I'm processing what needs to happen. I check my phone in the mornings, but just to make sure that no one has sent a text message. I don't get on socials in the mornings. I try my best not to. Sometimes if I'm tired, I do, but I try and never get on socials in the morning. I don't have time at all to even be consuming anything or staying on anything. So it's just like up and let's get moving and let's get out of the door.
Yeah, getting out of the door. I have a 16-year-old that just decides when we have to leave in 7 minutes that he might start cooking 500 grams of mince. Like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And recently it was funny because at times when my husband's home, he will do the drop off.
Yep.
But because he's at home, so there's no time pressure involved. Whereas over the holidays, we sent our eldest to do work experience with him at work. And so he had the conversation with him the night before, like, right, you need to be ready at this time. We've got to walk out the door at this. And he's like in our bedroom yelling at me. This is my husband, like, it's 6:20. Why is he not moving? I'm like, welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Every morning is like this. Every single morning.
We were home actually this morning and it was exactly the same in my house. Like, Lee was home because it was Henry's birthday. And I'm like, oh, see what the mornings bring? Like he can do more nights when I'm here, but I'm like, oh yeah, the mornings are a nightmare. Like trying to get all 5 of them to do what they need to do. Anyway, what's your secret weapon for getting through busy days with kids and clients? I'll answer that one. Her name is Nessie.
I was going to say my mother-in-law.
Nessie, who is she's like me, my extended mum version. She's my nanny 3 days a week and she just runs she wasn't there last week and I don't know how I haven't had a mental breakdown, and yours is your mother-in-law.
Well, like, to be fair, especially since we bought the business, my husband does way more than I do. Like, I don't actually remember the last time I cooked dinner. Like, he does all the sports things because unfortunately this year everyone's sport lands on my late night.
Yeah.
And then he picks up way more of the extra stuff than I do. But then my mother-in-law just comes in and picks up all the, like, she's the one that makes me look like I got my shit together.
Yeah.
She's just that little, like, cherry on top.
And I think a lot of it is communication. I've got a very amazing partner that I communicate with him a lot. Like, I'm struggling. I need some help. And also for me, a secret weapon would be definitely the outsourcing you can do. Woolies,
sure.
Woolies deliveries, Amazon deliveries.
I cannot do Woolies deliveries. They spin my head, but Amazon deliveries for sure.
Amazon deliveries, Woolies deliveries, anything that I can get delivered and just be really on top of it that way, I do.
Yeah.
So trying to streamline as much as I can so that my head doesn't feel like it's going to explode off my head. my shoulders.
Yeah.
How do you manage mum guilt when your work gets hectic?
I don't know. I'm feeling less guilty, but my kids are making me feel more guilty. Like my daughter throws a lot of shade around guilt, and I found myself like sleeping through movies recently because I've had to go to the movies because you promised and blah, blah, blah. It's like, wow. So I don't know that I am coping well with it at all.
I don't think anybody does. I think you do your best. It's really nice when you have little confirmations every now and then from your kids. You don't get them all the time, but like, the confirmation from the girls in a thing we had, where they said like, mum's amazing, she works really hard. And you're like, thank you. But then the other day I needed to come back into work and Alabama, the shade on that kid, she didn't speak to anyone for like 2 hours. And I was like, I don't have the option. I also don't want to go to work, but I need to right now.
Yeah.
So I think the mum guilt will always hit. I think it's very lucky when you have people like your nanny or your mother-in-law that can kind of help. It's not like, I've always been really funny about making sure that I pick them up every day and drop them off every day. And I think kids are going to whinge about what they don't have and they don't look at it. Like I used to stay at school till 6 p.m., 6 p.m. every night waiting to be picked up, and I was dropped at 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And I was just like, this is my life. My kids have never waited more than 10 minutes for me to get them.
Yeah.
So I think, it's what you don't have, then they don't appreciate. They're like, but this person's mum walks in.
Like that's nice.
That's nice. So I think it depends on the season. If you're not taking care of yourself and everything feels overwhelming, the mum guilt gets loud.
Yeah.
If you are making sure that you've still got your boundaries around what you're okay with and not pushing your boundaries out, if you think only one late night works for me and you're increasing to 2 or 3, or then you're overstepping your boundaries, then mum guilt gets loud.
And sometimes, it's not just mum guilt too, because my husband gets dad guilt.
Yeah.
And like he'll be so burnt out and so exhausted, and he'll be like, but I've got to drop this kid. It's like you don't actually have to. They decided they want to do that.
Yeah.
They could get themselves there. Because remember, I've got big kids now.
Yeah.
Like I'm not, it's like just because your son said that he wants you to pick him up does not mean you have to.
Yeah.
He is quite capable of getting home.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's parent guilt.
Parent guilt. What's one boundary you've had to set to protect your time as a mum?
I need to think on this for a minute.
Mine is one I talk about all the time, is making sure that my team don't message me on the weekend for anything work related.
Yeah.
That used to cause me a lot of anxiety, and then I would switch straight out of being a mum and straight into that. So now there's like no work on the weekend. My weekend I do not work, and I did for years and years, guys. Remember, I've had this business a long time, but now it is I've got little kids. I need to be tuned into them. No working on the weekend. From Friday night to Monday morning, I do not work.
I have the opposite problem.
I switch in.
had to set boundaries with my children about being at work, because my son will call me like 7 times, just hang up and ring again, hang up for something that is not important, and people are paying me for my time.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to answer it. And then you finally finish your 7 million foils that you're putting in, and you call back and he's like, oh, well, I just thought you were dead. And it's not even for anything important.
Like, I was just calling because do we have this cereal that I want?
Just transfer me some money for some food. Like so my boundaries have actually flipped to be more boundaries in the other direction.
Has being a mother changed how you lead or serve clients? Absolutely.
Definitely.
Being a mother definitely helps you, even with my team. I have a young, wonderful team, and I said to them the other day, what are you getting me for Mother's Day? I have a young team that definitely I feel like I can impart wisdom because I have children and I understand a little bit more about what they need, but also I know how to nurture people who probably need the same thing I need because I'm a mother.
It's funny. I literally have at work and at home the same age group that I'm dealing with.
Yes.
Teenagers at home and teenagers at work.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting situation.
Yes, totally. Boss of one, mother of the other.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I sometimes feel like I do the opposite.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Okay, so the next 5 questions are for me and the questions after are for you. So this is having a team. What's your go-to method for finding and hiring great team members? I definitely obviously always everyone knows what my culture is like in here. It's something that I foster. And I make sure that when I interview so it feels right. Then I always have a trial, and a trial is never 1 hour. And they come in, spend time with my team so that my team can feel them out as well.
Get the vibe,
I always have one of my best friends come for a blow dry so that they can feel that person out as well, and they'll be like, yep, she's great, loved her, personality-wise, hire, I think she was great. So that always helps me too, because generally when they come in, I'm really busy as well. So it's, definitely that. How do I handle conflict and drama? I definitely get on top of it as quick as I can. Especially these days. I was not quick enough in the past on that. I'm definitely quicker now on that, but I don't generally have any conflict or drama, but I will jump on it as soon as I can. If I know something's out, I will look at it.
And shit's going to go out. Like
always.
she goes out with,
everything. So generally I don't have it. I haven't had it in 6 months. But if I do, then I just jump on it pretty quick. And quickly have a meeting, don't let anything fester, I think is a big learning curve for me. Just get on top of it fast. Yeah. And it's hard when, I wasn't in the salon for a long time, but now that I am back in the salon, it's easier to be on top of things. One thing to keep my team motivated and aligned, we definitely have our meetings put in. That helps us. I'm constantly coming up with new ways to motivate them or something to do, to make them feel inspired. I love out of work catch-ups with them. I really feel like that brings our team together. But I just feel like, just the same thing won't keep them aligned over and over again. You've got to keep bringing in new things to keep them inspired and aligned. What's one thing I never compromise on with your team? Work. I think for me, the excellence of their work, I'm constantly like, if you weren't happy with that, you should have fixed it then and there.
Yeah.
Don't compromise on your work. I can support you and help you on the other side of that, but never compromise on what that looks like. If you're not happy with it, even if you think the client's happy with it and you're not happy with it, make adjustments. Like, don't compromise on your work. I think that's really important. All right, 4 for you. Okay. What's the best? Oh, no, actually not for you now, but for you probably 5 minutes ago, because this talks about being a solo artist.
Okay.
What was the best part about being a solo artist for you?
Controlling what I did and when I did it. Like, that's what making up my own mind about how I wanted to do things and products I wanted to use and playing around with things and deciding what really fit for me.
Yep.
I really liked that.
Yeah, I love that. What's the hardest part that no one talks about?
Getting sick.
Yeah.
And like, obviously we advocate to plan for getting sick, but in the early days before I had that foundation laid, that was fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I got so sick in the beginning.
Yeah.
That really derailed. And it was hard for me because I started out solo at home. And even though I had like a full like salon setup at home, just having, and I still used the same products and all that sort of thing, but having people just devalue me a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's like, but you were the one who said to me, you're still able to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that was one of my early challenges, and then finding an environment that I wanted to work in.
Yeah.
Because I like being able to bounce off people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that finding the right fit for that.
Love that. How do you avoid burnout when it's just you doing everything? Mother-in-laws.
Mother-in-law.
And you don't.
Yeah, no, I proper burnt out a couple of times actually.
Yeah.
Most recently.
Yeah.
Hello, shingles. But
burnout is a thing when you are getting to that point. And I think.
And it's a hard one because you almost have to rally to that point to move to the next level.
Yeah.
And I had this conversation with Kim, like Boho Kim, about it, because at some point she'd said that, you've got to make sure that you're giving them, it's like, yeah, I know that. We tell people to do that all the time. And then it's like, oh, shingles enters the chat.
Yeah.
So it was like, that's a big wake up call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's one thing you outsource or wish you could?
I outsource cleaning.
Me too.
Like I'm big advocate for that.
And I also outsource my stock ordering.
Oh yeah, I pretty much do that as well.
My reps do it,
my stock
and
ordering.
that is a game changer for me.
Yeah.
And we don't run out of anything, and she's all on top of it.
Yeah, no, I do that too.
All right, we got to go a bit faster.
Okay.
Finances and money. What financial mistake taught you the most? For me, it was in the beginning, not knowing my numbers.
Mine was panicking and buying things before I'd got the foundation. Like I bought things not crazy things, but I bought like an iPad when I really needed a computer.
Yeah.
Because someone was like, just buy an iPad. It's like, okay. And then it didn't work.
Yep.
You know, like that kind of thing.
How do you set your prices confidently? Salon Rising.
Know your numbers.
Yeah. Rising Finances online, knowing your numbers. I think anyone who just sets their prices off going, well, that's what that person charges, or I'll put it up 2%, never knows what they're charging.
Exactly.
You have to know your numbers in order to set your prices confidently, and then you won't.
And I'm going through a massive reshuffle of doing that at the moment as well, and just restructuring all my pricing.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Do you pay yourself a wage? Absolutely.
I used to when I was sole trader.
Yep.
Like a wage.
Yep.
But now it just depends what now we're a company.
Yep.
It depends where we're sitting financially.
Yep.
So it's not consistent yet. I do pay myself, like pay myself separately and put my taxes aside and all that sort of thing.
But it's not a consistent. But it's still a wage. But you're just paying yourself a wage. So yes.
Yeah.
What's a financial win you are proud of?
Buying a salon.
There you go. That's huge. Say it a little louder.
Buying a salon.
There you go.
No, my financial win that I'm really proud of is that just recently I was able to, and other people put money in this as well, I was able to buy my son a car because of my salon, and that's definitely something we couldn't have done before.
I love that.
Yeah. Little turd, get out of bed.
Yeah. Financial win that I'm proud of, I paid for this place.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah.
And also for me, raising 3 kids on my own financially. Yeah. I have my amazing partner now who we do it together, but pre that I was able to financially
and support yourself through that.
An entire life and 3 children, paying a rent and a mortgage, paying, big bills, having lawyers' fees, like that I could financially support myself through that time.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to do a couple more and then we might do this again because if people like this, it's like a quick shop sharp.
Yeah, no, I really like it.
How do you budget for the quieter months? For me, it's all based off what we're doing. The work you and I do now in Rising Finances, how we put all our accounts away really helps me when there is a quieter week.
Yeah. Much the same. And I'm just conscious that any time, like I fill any time that I've got with something, like I don't panic. It's like, okay, well, I've got time then. I'm going to record some content or I'm going to get someone in a seat or, just do anything because busy promotes busy.
Okay, 5 left. When did you first realize you were actually good at what you did, at what you do, the first I did it moment?
I haven't had that yet. I'm constantly niggling in my head.
I think for me it was, I don't know. I look back. It's always when I'm with my team, like always at Christmas parties and stuff like that. I feel really grateful for what I do. There was actually a moment for me at one of the girls' weddings that I went to just recently who worked for me years ago. And that was a really special moment, having one of them get married and one of them had a baby. G got married, T had a baby there, and it was like, the times go on and people leave, but we were talking about the funny moments and, the playlists that we had, like Tian's playlist when she met Dylan, and I said that to her the other day. Little things like that you can get caught up in the things that hurt when people leave, but what I really realized was that I had a big moment in these people's lives and that felt really special. It felt really nice for me to go like, yeah, it gets hard and it can get sticky when people go, but there's been this big moment that I'm like, I don't think I've ever cried on this podcast.
Oh my God. I thought I was supposed to be sensitive Sally today.
But yeah, there was like this moment that I was like, I've actually made a difference in these people's lives, and it's okay when people move on, because you definitely do blame yourself when people move on that you didn't do enough. But people just have their journeys, and I just feel really lucky that I had a moment and I still get to be at their moments, and, you know, I get to watch their lives unfold away from it. So as much as it like hurts sometimes because you deeply love them, I just feel really grateful that I got to be involved in their lives at some point.
I'm so proud of you. Well done.
What's one thing your younger self would be proud of you for today?
Oh, everything, I reckon.
Yeah.
Everything. I had someone ask me the other day, if you could go back and change anything, what would you change? It's like nothing.
Nothing.
Because even if you wouldn't be who you are now, if you hadn't been through all the things that you've been through. So
you go, at moments like, would I change anything? Not business-wise, but would I change anything in my life? No, because I got my 3 children from it. And, you know, had I changed anything there any faster, I wouldn't have met Lee, and that's where I am at now, you know. So I think it's really easy. You know, I listened to something the other day with Jay Shetty where he said, you know, 10 years ago you wanted exactly what you have now, and it may be completely different circumstances. That was a big wake-up call for me, because I was like, I could go, but 10 years ago I didn't want to be divorced. I wanted to still be married. But 10 years ago I craved the relationship I have now.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I just looked different. I would have craved what I have now. It just looks really different, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big moment, you know, having looked back and going, you know, I think for me, my younger self would just be proud of being brave enough to leave situations.
Yep.
Not in my business, in my personal life.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt like giving up, and what pulled you through? 95 million times. And I think if someone says that's not the case, they're lying 95 million times. But what pulls you through is keep coming back to your purpose and your why.
Yeah.
And knowing that that is what's going to get you through.
100% agree.
The last question, what perfect to finish it on. Who's been your biggest cheerleader through it all, and how have they impacted you? I think it's very easy. We're very lucky, Jen and I, to have amazing support through family and friends. But I think it's always been it's very easy when you have a best friend that is in all of this, and, you know, we can always cheer each other more. But yes, I've had a best friend that's kind of stood by my side for a very long time. So I'm very, very grateful for you, Jen.
Are you talking about me?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God, now I'm going to cry.
Of course I'm talking about
actually.
Stop,
I thought you were talking about Trace.
Stop. I'm talking about you idiot.
Oh, thanks.
It's really like no one knows your journey like someone that is in the journey with you. So Jen's always been my big cheerleader. I remember when I won that New York trip and Jen just like lost her mind. So I've been very lucky to have a best friend who has always supported and cheered and worked really hard for me in my business. So I'm just very, very grateful.
Thanks, man. I'm too sensitive for these conversations today.
All right. And with that,
it
was a quick, short, sharp, punchy as shit episode. I hope you guys liked it. And if you do, let us know if you want some more quick fire or what you can ask us.
Or if you've got some quick fire questions that you want to ask us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Goodbye.